How are you? Einen wunderschönen guten Abend to you, to Los Angeles, to California. Today, I'm truly thrilled because as you guys might know it, every time we welcome somebody in our Talks on Acting show, we kind of address this beautiful episode to someone else. We interview different people, international actors and coaches. Today, I'm really proud to introduce a powerhouse of a woman, Jacqueline Fleming, with such a beautiful and interesting history, such a great background, who is so manifold and powerful in her different tasks, who runs a producing company, who was involved in the production of River Runs Red movie with John Cusack, Ty Diggs, George Lopez, and Luke Hemsworth, who has written movies, who is an actress, who is a coach, and an excellent cook of vegan broth that you should check out her recipe. That's, I think, a very powerful thing. Your man doesn't seem to like it that much, though. How are you, Jacqueline? Thanks so much for being on the show. It's a real pleasure.
Hi, thank you for having me. Good morning. What time is it? You're in Germany?
Yes, I'm in Germany. We're currently based in Munich. It's 8 o'clock. It's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay, wow. So hello. Good evening, everyone in Germany.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you still able to speak some German? Do you have some German words?
I don't know German at all. My birth mom is Danish and German, and I came to America as a child and grew up in New York, and everybody was speaking Spanish and French, and I didn't learn either. I don't know anything. English.
You know a lot of things, though.
A little word here, a little word there.
Where does this urge of telling stories, of making things, of being always and constantly in action, where does this come from?
From when I was a little kid. I think it was just something I was born with. My family said at the age of 3, I was reciting commercials. And then I had a stepmom. My birth dad was married a few times after my birth mom. And one of my stepmoms was a school teacher, and she used to tell these wonderful stories, and I would get caught up in them. Miss Silva was her name, Sylvia Small, and I don't know, I just gravitated towards the arts. I dreamed through her conversations. You know, I don't know. I've been a magnet to it.
And how come you started in New York, right? And then you moved and you kind of arrived in LA. You kind of walk us through how this shift happened.
Yeah, I was originally born in Copenhagen, and then I grew up between New York and St. Louis, and I just gravitated towards the arts, went to Little Red Schoolhouse in New York, which was all like directors, producers, kids, and actors' kids, Little Red Schoolhouse in New York.
Right.
And then I went to Webster University in St. Louis, and it was nothing but a campus for training. They had 5 campuses in Europe, and it was all about musical theater and things like that. And so I just kept training, went to Chicago, did a lot of theater, trained there. And it was my first movie with Halle Berry. And she said, you should move to LA. I think I did my second film, and it was a little day, it was a day player role. I was on the movie for like one day, and I had scenes opposite Halle Berry. And she's the reason I moved to Hollywood.
Wow, this is super. and that happened when?
That happened in 1995. I did the movie Losing Isaiah that Halle Berry starred in. And we were like 2 little peas on the set. She was like, hi, I'm Halle Berry. And so sweet, nice. And she just talked to me, and she said, hey, if you really want to do this, you should move to Hollywood.
Absolutely.
And
you regret it?
No, I regret losing her number, but she gave me her number and I lost it.
I guess she changed her number a couple of million of times in the meanwhile.
Probably. But no, I did move to Hollywood, and I'm going to be honest with you, I took off pretty quickly when I got here. I landed on sitcoms, signed with big representation. I was off to the races, but I found Hollywood to be very disconnected from me, and I wasn't used to that coming from New York, and I felt lonely out here, if you will. I would get off work on these TV shows, and I would just feel empty. And so when there was the writer's strike here in 2008, someone invited me to New Orleans for a New Year's Eve party. I went, and I never left.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where I launched my acting studio, my talent agency. I know Dean West extremely well. We worked on some films together.
Very cool.
that's where I was able to pursue a lot of things and help a lot of people pursue their careers as actors.
Is that ultimately the inspiration and, you know, the strength that you're getting from helping those people and getting that feedback? Is that
Yeah,
ultimately your driving force?
if I don't help people, I it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand my purpose if I don't help
That's
others.
so powerful. It's so beautiful at the same time. Where did
Thank
you
you.
get that from? Where do you get that also? Because I feel a lot of people I think are the same. They kind of, you know, they feel like I could share something, I could give something, but sometimes they're afraid. Sometimes they have some setbacks, or let's say negative, you know, experiences with that, or sometimes they get played over, whatever. That happens. That's part of life. But I think constantly pushing into that realm of generosity and you know, putting out good content for the people, ultimately that I think will have the overhand over the downsides of it.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't know. I did another interview last week, and someone said, "Why do you do that? What's driving you?" And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't know. I think it's either you really want to do it or you don't. It's just something that's inside of you, like acting. You can't
Mm-hmm.
teach someone really to act.
No.
Either they have it inside them or they don't. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
And it's just something inside of me. I think it's part of my life's purpose to
Mm-hmm.
connect dots for other people, to help other people, and to inspire other people if I can.
Sure.
And so I wake up and I do it automatically, and I don't even think about it. I don't know why I do it.
Let's say you are right. I think you got something inside of yourself that is the urge of telling stories, of, you know, performing, of creating
Mhm.
that, like you said, you started when you were a kid, like singing commercials and being there, enjoying
Mhm.
that pulsation in a way. But it's also true sometimes that through constant training, even if you start with a relatively small spark, right, you can light up a pretty big fuse. Like, what are
Mhm.
your most favorite techniques for your clients also when you see, okay, this guy or this girl, they need to do some groundwork. They need to, you know, to grind out some basic work before they start, you know, playing with the nuances, before they start to get all fancy about their performance. What is your way to go advice or to go tool you like to share?
Well, I like working with people who've never acted before, and I
Mm-hmm.
like finding diamonds in the rough, which is
Mm-hmm.
really my knack. And
Mm-hmm.
I take actors, kids, teens, young adults who've never acted before, and I help them mold into working actors. And
Mm-hmm.
then I send them off.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my gift is being able to identify the gifts inside someone else.
Nice.
And and I work from there. I
Mm-hmm.
work from that gift on, and we use that and we hone that and
Mm-hmm.
we cultivate it and it blossoms. And I'm like, now goodbye.
Go fly for yourself.
Go to the next coach. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm that foundation, if you will, like getting them acclimated, they get an agent, or they learn they're audition ready,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just to start with a few lines. And then I'm like, please evolve, go on, because I've
Yes.
taught you what all that I can. I
Mm-hmm.
feel that is my gift,
Mm-hmm.
which is honing your gift, that seed inside of you. And a lot that I do is empowerment. Like when I speak to my kids, I speak into their soul and into their spirit. And I'm like, when they do a scene and I'm like, wow, you wowed me. I said, I'm looking at you, but I see you on Disney. I see you on
Mm-hmm.
Nickelodeon. And it manifests for them. I
That's
talk to my
amazing.
young
Mm-hmm.
actors and I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to see you at the box office. There's something special and
Oh,
beautiful
that's
about
great.
your gift. And
Yes.
I go to the box office and they're on the screen, because that confidence that you put
Mm-hmm.
inside them as they're beginning,
Those future
it
manifestations.
fuels them.
Yes, yeah, that's a beautiful approach. Those, making sure that those future manifestations is to feel real and comfortable and intimate with yourself and not distant and strange and cold, that you can accept it in your system. Because sometimes I like what you're saying and what you're doing, because I have the same feeling. People are well prepared, even, you know, just that they know what they have to do. They have so many clear images from all those movies, from all those stars, from all those magazines. They know how to look cool, they know how to be sharp and all that, but they forget what the magic of this beautiful craft is actually all about, to wow people, to lure them in, right, to surprise them, to and no technicality can bring you to that point. That's something that you have to feel comfortable with. And I think this method is truly, so this tool is truly helpful to achieve that. It's a nice instrument. I can see, while, you know, listening to you, I was there, so I can totally see how you're doing this, how you placing them in this comfort zone that is not comfortable per se, but where they feel entrusted with the environment. So I think that's pretty smart and beautiful.
Yeah, they trust their gift. They
Mm-hmm.
trust their talent. So I am enough. You are enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can be as talented as you want to be, but if you walk into that room and you don't believe that you're worthy, you don't believe in your gift, you know, you see all these talented actors and they don't book, or they're not confident. You look at their audition tapes and you see that they lack the confidence.
Yes.
You know, you have to
Yeah.
start there.
Right.
And you know, and then I feel like you go from there. What is so unique and beautiful
And
and
that's
different about you?
exactly, isn't confidence ultimately one of the sexiest things, the most beautiful things about a human being, when he's confident, when he's in his own groundings, when he's acting out of confidence, out of truth, right?
Yeah, when you're owning the room, even as a kid, not, you know, saying I have to book this, or, you know, I got this, you know, this is my, none of that, but just walking in and knowing I belong here. I'm part of the solution. I'm part of the casting solution.
Let me
I
touch
am
upon
worthy.
that, because I'm pretty often in LA, and one day I'm sure I'm gonna live there. And I've seen a lot of auditions there, and, you know, visited some acting workshops and talked with a lot of people. And like what you're saying, I have to book this job. I see this mentality. This, of course, it's a, you know, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your bills. Of course, you know, it's living, it's surviving. You didn't, you know. And I can understand this urge, this necessity. But the thing is, if you're always focused on, I have to book this job, I have to get this role no matter what, you're coming over as somebody who's needy. I always tell
Yes.
my client, don't come over as being desperate and in search for this job, or as being someone who's needy, because I think that's the number one mood killer in the room, in the audition room. If someone is like too much of the
Mhm.
character, just deliver the character you've prepared. Just
Mhm.
deliver a compelling, truthful, powerful, insightful character that serves the text. And ultimately, I think is important that he leaves more questions than answers. And then he wraps up the thing and he leaves the room. I think that's way more serving for your career, instead of being so obsessed about this thought. Because I don't
Mhm.
know, like you're experiencing LA way more than I, but over here auditions are, you know, are not that frequent like in LA, but the principle is pretty much the same. And there are so many factors involved in choosing an actor for a
Mhm.
pilot, for a movie, for a play. There are so many different currents deciding, so many decision makers pointing the finger at something, at a detail, at so many things that could eventually, you know, kind of decide against or in
Mhm.
your favor. So don't get obsessed with this thought.
Mm-mm. No, I think you do the footwork and you stay out of the results. And I think what's important is that you understand the business side of the show business.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach that to my kids. I teach
Mm-hmm.
that to any actor that I mentor, because I came to Hollywood back in the day and I thought it was just talent. And I
Mm-hmm.
learned the hard way that if it was talent, everyone would be famous or successful. And so I teach those variables
Mm-hmm.
to the clients that I coach, because like for myself as an indie filmmaker, there
Right.
could be 1,000 different reasons why I choose an actor that is less talented than another actor.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand those parameters and you don't understand You know, often people go in and they audition for a lead in a movie. Well, sometimes you have to have a bankable name in that role
Sure.
to get your distribution and
Right.
financing. And so you may have been the best actor, but you can't win the role, or you don't have enough social media followers,
Right.
or, you know, it's a relationship that the producer has with a particular actor or
Absolutely.
actors, or, you know, it just, the list is so long. And if you get caught up in that, so what we do as actors is we go in the room and we just make fans, and we do our best work, and we sow seeds. And when those seeds blossom is none of our business, because they do if you stay the course.
It's almost in a religious aspect. It's almost something religious and like
Very spiritual.
Because it is a ritual, I feel. You prepare life. And imagine life. You go through this life. You create your moment before. You write down something that is truly personal and intimate. You get acquainted with his body, with his sounds, with his passions and his frustrations, with his conflicts, and then you present that life. So it's, of course, it's in a way it's a spiritual process. And don't ruin that beautiful process by being too much, you know, obsessed about the idea of selling this process right away. Right, of turning it immediately into currency, because ultimately I think your currency at the casting director's office is the length, it's the time and space that you covered over years with great auditions. Your currency is the legacy that you left with nailing a lot of auditions that you probably didn't book. But one day, you know, the casting director, he's a smart guy. He wants to make money. He wants to pass on the greatest actor for the role. So he has that vital interest. If he sees that you're continuously putting out some great work in front of the camera whenever you get called to action, he will give you that shot for sure. So your currency is not an immediate currency. It is a currency more of a legacy, of a longevity currency.
Yeah, absolutely.
How did you get into that indie film niche? Because I love indie film. I was doing also some promotion for indie filmmakers, and, you know, traveling to the festivals, and, you know, this whole work involved with it. It's another life. It's a clone basically that you need to do that work like thoroughly and in a good way, so that, you know, it gets some results and some traction. It's hard.
It's extremely hard. I mean, you have the actor's life, you have the producer's life, the director's life, the executive producer's life, you know, the agents, the cast. So I kind of have had a hat in all of those areas except for casting. But I knew for myself after I went to Louisiana, and the industry in Los Angeles had died in 2008 because of the writer's strike.
Yeah.
So I went to New Orleans.
I suffered that blow as well. I was about to get hired on a show in New York, and they canceled the show, and I was like, no way.
Yeah, it was bad. And I rode the wave there. The industry rebound there because of the tax incentive program, and all the films flux down there. And I happened to be in the right place at the right time with my acting studio. Then I launched the talent agency. And actors can own talent agencies in the South because SAG doesn't govern it or whatever. But and my acting career was flourishing. So like all of these amazing things were going on, and I wanted more. I wanted to know what it felt like to produce. I wanted to know what it felt like to be the person to put that project together, because I was looking at the actors in my acting studio. I was looking at the actors in the talent agency that I had, and I thought, if we can roll these actors into a film, if I can roll these actors into a movie or a television show, they go from the acting studio to the talent agency to my production company. And I was creating a wheel. And that's what first sparked my desire to want to know that. But I had no idea how incredibly hard producing is. I had no idea how hard it is to raise money for a film. And I definitely didn't know anything about directing. But I had a want. So that want in the universe met me on a film. And I teamed up with some people who already had a production company. And because I had put it into the universe that I wanted to produce, I attracted that to me. Until this day, I'm still involved with the company that is producing the films like A Tone, where I was able to come in and help work on the distribution aspect for
You
that
look
film.
fearful in this movie. You look incredible. It's like,
A Tone,
wow.
yeah. So we were able to get a great distribution deal with A Tone.
Beautiful.
Then the next movie was River Runs Red, where I was a part of it, the team as a producer. Wes Miller is the director and writer of all of these projects, and Sweet Unknown Studios is the company. And then after that, Hell on the Border, I came in as an actress only on the project, but it's another project from the production company. And then we have a couple more slated, and I'm coming up on another film that I can't talk about because it'll be released in the trades. Sure. That I'll get a producer credit on. And right now I got my short funded, and it'll be my directorial debut.
One day, please, let's do something together. I would be more than honored shooting with you something. That would be surely a blast.
So yeah, so I'm learning filmmaking, and I'm being mentored by some really great people, Wes Miller and Glenn Plummer and Billy Washington, and so I'm really grateful for these three guys, and my sister Amber. She's
How is she? What part is she of that constellation? Your sister?
My sister Amber went to film school in Chicago, and so she's a former filmmaker. But now she has an award show that she does that honors filmmakers every year called Hoppo Awards. So my sister see me like learning all this filmmaking stuff, the directing side. She's like, you should do this, or you should have this, or like I'm working on my shot list, and my sister's like,
is she the complete opposite of you, like in terms of personality, of character?
Yeah, she's so lovable and bubbly, and I'm a little bit more reserved, but my sister, everybody loves her.
Super cool. Is Hell on the Border the one movie where you transformed a little bit, and was that the movie with Nellie Reeves? Yeah.
Yes, where I gained 20 pounds for the role.
Yeah. Can you dive into that a little bit? I saw the pictures and read all the stories, and it sounded very interesting. Also, we get this question quite a lot about historical characters, how deep you should dive, how original it should be, how close it should be to the original, and when does it start that you take over a little bit of that character. So I think that's a perfect example to kind of explain the work in progress there when we're talking about actual historical figures that you have to interpret as an actor.
Well, Nellie Reeves was wonderful. Again, Wes Miller, he wrote and directed that project. And I don't know if you guys have seen it in Germany, but it stars David Gayassi, Ron Perlman, and Frank Grillo.
Wow,
and
Frank, super.
It was wonderful. David, he was in the big movie with Angelina Jolie, Maleficent. So he starred in that with her, and I played his wife in the film. He played the real life character of Bass Reeves.
Oh, okay.
And Bass Reeves was the first U.S. Marshal, a Black U.S. Marshal west of the Mississippi. And so he was a legend. Not so much information on his wife, Nellie Reeves, who I played. I knew she had 10 kids, and I knew she was married to him, and that was it.
Wow.
And so I had to make up her backstory.
That's
and
very little information right there. I mean,
it was so little. I looked at her death report. I tried to glean whatever information I could about her, but it wasn't much. And I thought, what was the attraction between two of them? What was her purpose in his life? What was her objective in life? And I tried to imagine that based on his characteristics and who he was and what he needed. I built her character. And I knew she had 10 kids, and I had an actor's secret in the movie. There's a scene where my husband says that he has to go off. He's going to become a deputy sheriff.
Right.
And secret was that I was pregnant, and I didn't tell him, because if I had told him, he wouldn't go. I don't know if he would go. So that was my actor's secret in the scene.
Right.
And there was so many layers to it that when we finished the production, David asked, what was that? What was your secret? And I told him, and he was like, wow. But it played out so beautifully with so much subtext. And then I was really grateful to gain 20 pounds and learn an accent and do the research, and it was phenomenal.
So basically you back engineered this character. You didn't, there were no roots, no foundation, no real time information. So you had to derive it from what was the opposite force of this character. So if he was interested, this character in a person like that, obviously, you know, his takes on life should be like this and that. That's super interesting and also very hard.
Yeah. And then also respecting the writer, Wes, what he wanted to convey in the script.
Yeah,
That's our job as actors, to convey what the writer wrote accurately.
absolutely.
And so he and I would have discussions about this particular character and what her objective was in scenes and things like that. And those things were really important to him. And so he allowed me to have my take and my version, and his take and his version. And some of them we were dead on, and some of them we weren't. Didn't have the same view, but it turned out, that it was beautiful. And I appreciate that about him, respecting the fact that I had to find her as well.
Yeah, I think that's the beauty also of filmmaking. He comes with a vision. The director comes with something, and he likes to see that. I think that he thinks is perfect to tell the story. You come over with a vision, with an agenda for your character. You like to convey that into reality and bring that to life. And sometimes there are some clashes, major, minor ones, whatever. But you work your way around it. You find the compromise. You find the right solution where both sides of the story are happy with the result or with the process. And I think that's, art is about that. If there is a client, he asks a painter for a commission. He gives him money and he asks him for this horse, right? If the painter completely distorts the horse, yes, maybe he satisfied his own artistic behavior, his ego now is happy with the result, but he hasn't really served the art he was initially commissioned for. So there is no tangible result. There's no effect. It stays with him. So in order to make it public, in order to let everybody appreciate what you're doing, there are sometimes you have to make a little adjustment, some tweak here and there.
And I mean, and I think at some point there was a little frustration between Wes and I as it related to that character. And he said, just trust me on this. In this particular scene, this is who she is and this is what she wants. And I had to find that because it's his film. He wrote it. He's directing it.
Nice.
And I said, I can't play that if I can't justify it, if I can't find it. So I had to go back as an actress. I had to do more work. I had to dig deeper, and I had to find what it is that he wanted to convey in a particular scene. And that was so challenging.
Oh, yeah. To build your reason for the direction of the director.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Sometimes it could be so easy, like
no,
it could be.
I don't. It's like yes, and I'm like, oh.
Where is the reason? What is the purpose here? Yeah, I get it.
And so, but it turned out really beautiful, and I was really proud of the work that we all created together. And every director is different. You have a different experience with everyone.
I'm shooting soap opera right now, currently in Munich, and
congratulations.
Thank you. I'm a regular on the show for many years now, and it's daily work, and it's beautiful.
Wait, may I pause you? You're shooting during Corona?
Yeah, for 5 weeks now.
Wait.
Yeah, we started 5 weeks ago.
Is it different? I know they start filming in New
Zealand, you could say
it,
it's different. Yeah.
Are you wearing masks?
We're wearing masks till we shoot. We have to keep distance. There are some delimitation points signed on the floor. The overall team has been reduced and kind of skeletoned till just the functional pillars of the production have been left, because less people on set means less infection, stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. We have to disinfect, we have to put on the makeup for ourselves, we have to look up for our clothes. So as actors, you don't get any break pretty much throughout the day. It's 12 hours straight now. It's pretty crazy. We start early, and then and we shoot a lot of scenes. We record 48 minutes a day. So yeah, it's a tough schedule. But I was hooking up on what you were saying, like to build your own reason. for actors is so powerful and so important, whether you're shooting a movie like that where you have those deep-seated characters, or where you're shooting, let's say, a soap opera where you have to take those very quick decisions, and then the director comes over and says, we have the scene of 2 minutes, you need to go there, you need to do this, right? We have installed the cameras, and you have to find your reason on the spot. You have to improvise. Sometimes you come in with a totally different game plan, and then he kind of corrects you and says, you know what, we had to change the scene because it's not adaptable anymore, or there was another scene that was canceled because of scheduling reasons. So now you have to take over the part. So you have to make decisions on the spot really quick. And it's so important to to have your character, of course, inside of you, but always at the same time to have that channel of communication open, so that you are able to direct him and to kind of to kind of translate what a director said to you in order in terms of direction, to translate that for your own purposes and something that is tangible and usable, because you kind of have to remember it also. It's not just that you have to go and find your reason, but there's so many actions sometimes in a scene in a soap opera, so you have to remember, what was that? Okay, so you have to give it a clear and sharp reason. It has to be installed. So that's it's, I think, very powerful for actors to have that channel, to know your reason, to know your purpose in every scene that you're shooting.
Absolutely. You have to. I mean, if you don't know what you want, you're all over the place.
Yeah. So yeah. Right now it's like we're getting some self tapes also that we're helping out with online. Of course, pilots have been canceled this year in LA. And tell us a little bit, how crazy is it right now? What is the effect right now? How is the overall mood?
To be honest with you, I was talking to my producing partner, and this is my take. I don't know when LA is coming back, because we're still on quarantine until further notice as it relates to filmmaking here. And I tweeted that, a particular production company is going to go ahead and start doing some filming or something at Universal Studios or something. I don't know. But I know the South is back. I know that Netflix, I think, goes back the first week of July, and there's a couple other studios. And Tyler Perry is going back. So it's looking hopeful to work on in some capacity as an actor. I think the game is flipping, and this is what I was saying, talking to my producing partners about. I think that with this happening, COVID, that the actors, is the have or the have-nots. And I think that the series regulars, the guest stars, the strong recurring characters, they're going to make it. They're going to survive. But all the other actors that are co-stars, one-liners, the extras, even crew, it's just being minimized completely. And to me, I feel like that opens the door for independent filmmakers like myself, where I can go in where a crew member is normally would be not working, and now I can use you on my independent project. This particular actor, I think stars are going to be shuffled on different streaming platforms, and I think the B-level actor will take off on certain platforms, and then the C-level actor, I don't know, theater or indies. It's just all shifting.
Yeah, it's flipping, it's shifting. I think video is going to be super strong.
Content creators are going to make it.
Content creators, YouTubers going to make it.
Content, you're going to make it. And so I said I'm shifting. That's why I'm getting ready to direct. I'm opening another door for myself. I'm writing a script right now with one of my kid actors. We're working on a short that I want to shoot, and I'm writing a screenplay with someone else. So it's just about shifting and being able to bend and be flexible with what is about to happen and stay relevant and not die off during this.
And ultimately, I believe, like you said, your life changed in the crisis of 2008, when everything was kind of, it was just this stop, right? There was this hard stop in the industry. Nobody worked anymore from on the.
This will be the third time. 2008. Was the writer's strike sent me to Louisiana. In 2016, the tax incentive dropped out. And I felt that 2015, 2016. And I said, guys, I'm leaving Louisiana. I'm either headed to Atlanta are headed to LA because I felt that shift again. I feel the shift again now. And I think the one thing is that if you're going to stay in this game as an artist, you have to be able to be flexible and roll. Wherever the industry goes,
That's
you
our
need to
nature.
roll.
That's our
And
nature.
it's
We need to be
rolling
super
to the
adaptive.
south.
Absolutely. And yeah, and right
Yes.
now it's shifting back to the south again. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Yeah,
Tyler
so I
Perry,
may
I
be
mean,
shifting that way. I may be rolling with the
right.
tide, you know,
Yes.
getting a place down there in Atlanta and being between Atlanta and LA. But I'm looking at moving into a place in Atlanta very soon because it's shifting. It's definitely shifting.
Atlanta's growing crazy fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
I
getting
love
better,
Atlanta.
but yeah, yeah. A lot of people
Yeah.
have such a positive feedback from working there, from being there. People are nice. The
Mm-hmm.
industry is still young and vibrant. People
Mm-hmm.
want to explore. Tyler Perry Studios, of
I
course,
love Tyler Perry. I'm
that's huge.
recurring
It's
on one of
such
his
a
shows. I love
huge
Tyler
and
Perry.
bold and beautiful move. And I think the Afro-American community has given so much lately to comedy, to movies, to the entertainment industry, to overall to acting, and it's great because it's giving so many new ideas and so many new stories to write, so many new visions to kind of involve actors from all sorts. And I think being an indie
I
right
think
now,
I think as an African American community, I think we've been giving these stories. We just
yeah,
didn't have the power
right, that's
to
what I mean.
have them.
Now you have the
Yeah.
leverage. Yeah,
Now we have the leverage. But we've been telling
absolutely.
these stories since
All
day one.
you,
Yeah.
you guys basically created music industry. You guys created the industry. We are, you know, we are leeching off the whole time and peering off. That's for sure. Well,
But
I
I
mean,
love Tyler Perry.
yeah,
I talk about Tyler Perry so much in my house. Everyone knows how much I love Tyler Perry
nice,
because of what he is doing for so many actors and so
very
many
inspirational.
people. The content that he has to crank out is unbelievable, which employs so many people.
I wonder
Wow.
how I mean, of course, from our perspective here in Europe, it's I dive deep in American culture and American entertainment industry because, of course, I have a lot of clients, but I don't have all the insights for sure. How that happened over the years, but that's so amazing that now finally he has the opportunity, and yeah, hopefully he will. You know, all the studios, of course, will recover as soon as possible from this blow, but coming back to what you said in the beginning, that as an indie right now, I think it's the best period, the best time to thrive because people, you know, you don't want to take advantage. But that's heavily linked to something that I posted today on IGTV. And I was kind of slightly criticized because I mentioned Rockefeller. There's always a positive aspect, even in the darkest and most horrific hour. And there's always a negative and very dark aspect. Even in the most, I guess you can create a controversy, you can create an argument, a debate over everything, right?
Right.
You can create a debate over Gandhi or over Nelson Mandela if you want, which is, in my opinion, absolutely unnecessary. But yeah, but what I want to say is if you take your chance to stand for something, you give out employment, if you give out wealth, if you create that critical mass where people can participate at your mission, whatever that mission is, you still can decide whether you want to take part, you want to be part of it or not. But that's,
Right.
you know, it's so easy to judge when you're sitting on your couch. And if I'm struggling with my mom right now. She has a restaurant in Stuttgart, and of course this has heavily impacted our financial programming for this year and the restaurant and everything. It's crazy, but we are creating the solutions. We're grinding out videos, creating content, thinking about special offers, doing takeaway, delivery, caterings, doing festivals. We're trying to come out with a lot of solutions, and I think, like you said, you need to be adaptive as a creator, as an artist. Nonetheless, whether it's shiny and beautiful and everybody's happy or everybody's depressed and worried and sad. And in both occasions, you have a market. So offer your product. Whether people are happy, you have a market, then you tell drama and tragical stories.
Yeah.
And if people are sad, then, you know, make them laugh. God damn it, you are an entertainer. You know, use your spirit, use
Right.
this craft, and don't, you know.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. So, you know, I think this is a beautiful time. I mean, I think, you know, we're all affected by COVID. It's some people's experience is different than others.
Sure.
My heart goes out to people who are just have lost everything and they don't know how they're going to eat or pay their bills or anything like that. So that takes me to this. I ran a special for my kid actors, or for anyone I was coaching for the last 2.5 months, for COVID.
Right.
I've basically been coaching for free. Seriously, like from New York to LA, whoever wanted to coach with me, I was like giving my services away. And I met so many incredible people around the country doing that. And it's been really hard, and I'm really tired because you know how much it takes out of you, but an hour of your time all day is just a lot. But I feel like we're going to rebound from this. And I just want to say my experience for COVID has actually made me stronger. It's made me dig deeper as a human being. My experience, it made me a better person, a better human being. I suffered from claustrophobia. I think I'm cured. So I'm sitting here creating every single day and giving back. Same and working out and bonding with my family. COVID was the best thing that happened for me.
Right.
It really, it was for me. And however it's affecting me positively, I hope that I can share whatever I make or do with others coming out of this and give back.
Oh yeah, even stronger. I mean, when do you think it's? I mean, further notice. What are what is the outlook? What does until further notice mean?
I don't know.
You guys have no idea. That's incredible.
It's whatever it is. It's it means go where the work is. That's what I take it as.
I think this is a tremendous opportunity. I truly believe that.
I take it as don't sit around and wait for the ship to sink. Get off the ship and go where there's a ship that's on the water and stable. And I just think that's life. I mean, my new plates on my car are gonna actually say life, like for real.
I like that. Life, guys, life.
Yeah, get out and go.
I always love to chat with older people, and then they tell me, "Oh man, what are you complaining now? You don't know anything about what we suffered in the past." And my ancestors, they're from my family is from Sicily, and you are immigrants over here in Germany, and so they are telling me. My grandparents were also telling me, like, you know what we went through after the Second World War. You know what we went through to build up this nation that now is so beautiful. I mean, we are so fixated with the now. With what happens right now. So we have this over exposure of media and of constant bombardment of news.
Excuse me for 1 second, everybody. I have to say hi to my mom. She just walked in.
Please. Introduce us to your mom. Maybe we can speak some.
Yes, hi.
That's amazing.
Okay, so I had to say hello to my mom.
Schönen guten Morgen. Schönen guten Morgen.
He said good morning. It's 8 something in Germany.
Good morning,
amazing people.
She said, "Good morning, amazing people." Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I'm back.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. So I agree with you on that. So all of that. I don't think I would be on here with you if it wasn't for COVID. I actually am on another show that got picked up. Called By Design. It's a streaming show coming out, and I'm a series regular on it. And it got picked up and it started streaming, I think, in June. Right. But again, a platform that picked up a pilot that probably, just there's so many pilots that are done. You know what I mean? Like you'd never know. So this is something else great that came out of COVID. Is just that these platforms are changing. They're changing and they're accepting, different content, and they're open, whereas they weren't as open before COVID. Now things are changing, and this is, like I said, it's a great time for the independent filmmaker.
Be like water, my friend. These are the amen.
Or whatever. Get them ready. Go and get ready.
Write your story. record yourself,
Yes,
use the
yes,
social
get it out
media
there.
leverage. Don't complain. It's always something. There's always an issue. There's always a problem. There's always something going on in the world. Use your momentum, right? Don't get distracted by anything. Don't get, you know, too excited about good news, and don't get too, you know, down by the bad ones, I guess. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. This has been such a pleasure, and I think also an inspiration for our community, for our audience. I think we've learned a lot. You're so strong and beautiful and talented, and we will make sure to include all the links to all of your projects. Please run us through your social media platforms for our audience. Subscribe to Jacqueline, who you can find on.
Okay, so if you go on Instagram or Twitter, I'm at JAQ Fleming, and Jack is spelled J. I am Jacqueline Fleming on Instagram. It's my name. I am Jacqueline Fleming, and on Twitter, Jack Fleming. My nickname is Jack, J-A-Q, and on Facebook, it's Jacqueline Fleming or JAQUELIN'JAQ Fleming. And that's it. Instagram, I am Jacqueline Fleming. So thank you so much. And will I be able to take this and upload it on my Instagram?
Sure, absolutely. I will send you the whole recording. You can use, you can create micro content, do whatever you want with it.
What? That's so
Absolutely.
awesome.
Sure. It's part of our
So
service.
can I just say one last thing before I go? There's a film festival in Amsterdam called the Buff Film Festival. I hope that maybe you can interview the person who's the founder, Julio, to be on here, because he's putting all the films that are in Europe and America in his festival.
Oh,
he's in Amsterdam. The Buff Film Festival.
The Buff Film Festival. If you could create that or just send me over, yeah, surely I will contact you.
Okay, I'll tag you.
So thank you so much again. I think we've learned a lot, and I will leave it with that. See you. All the best with all of your projects. God bless. A lot of love and light and endurance. We will get back on track very soon, I'm sure, and then we will be stronger than ever before and have our impact. Thank you so much, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us till the end. It was a great pleasure sharing this conversation with the epic Jacqueline Fleming, such an inspiring and beautiful person. Make sure to check her out. I hope you guys got a lot out of this dialogue, out of this talk, because I think there were some really good insights, some really good tools how to thrive, even in a moment of crisis like this, to never lose touch with your purpose, with your mission, to overcome all the obstacles and all the difficulties, and to really stand for something, for your purpose. She really is somebody who stands for something, and I want you to do the same. And if you're here for the first time, by the way, make sure to say hello in the comments, and also subscribe to our channel and share this video to your community, because ultimately our mission here at the Coach MC Studio is to create a thriving community of great actors, performers, and artists for ever better performances, truly remarkable performances. So smash the bell to get notified every time we grind out a new video, and also follow our other adventures on Instagram and Facebook. It's the Coach MC. And if you have any other inquiry, if you're up for a free trial lesson, then send us an email through our website. It's thecoachmc.studio. And see you with the next video, guys. Now you're ready to perform.